And welcome to Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071. I am Ori Benatar, joined alongside my trusty cohorts, Will Gerard, Jake Hassan, and Tommy Polson, as we're ready for a little Monday Illini Drive action. What's the big idea, son? What's going on here?
Just got sunned by Ori.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse.
How you feeling about that?
Really?
I don't know. I feel very small now.
I always.
Whoa.
Come on, dude. I'm always
I
feeling
feel like
small.
I feel like I'm being like, I don't know.
Talked at?
Scolded now.
I'm not scolding you. I'm just saying. I said cohorts.
Well, it sure feels like it, Ori.
Fine. I'm scolding. No, just
I
kidding.
don't know, just cohorts. I wasn't ready for that. Made me
Well,
laugh.
I'll start talking with my cohorts
keep it
about
real.
sports now, and we'll keep it real, exactly. So it was a very busy Sunday. Besides that incredible Super Bowl that we got, which we're going to talk about later on the show, we got to start with a little Illini, because this is Illini Drive, as Illinois played number 17 Ohio State yesterday afternoon over at the Schott, named after the Schottenstein family, in Columbus, Ohio. And the Buckeyes beat the Illini 75-67 in a very eventful game and really a crazy first half. Illinois just went off. Mark Allstork took the lead, putting points in. Everyone was hitting their threes. We're up 30-15 halfway through the first half. And then Ohio State ended the first half on a 19-0 run.
Not great.
Illinois didn't score a point for 10 whole minutes.
Not many
Also
shot
not
attempts
great.
even over that
No.
stretch.
No, it had
a
like
lot
8.
of turnovers.
Yeah, and then Ohio State kind of had a late burst at the end. Keita Bates-Diop just went off on the
pretty
Illini.
good.
35 points, 13 rebounds. One of his signature games of the season. He had 13 for 15 from the line. He's the front runner for Big Ten Player of the Year. He's even a candidate for the Naismith Award.
He's definitely a mismatch against a team like Illinois, too.
Oh, completely. I mean, for me, this game was the game you look at for an Illini fan and say, wow, we have to get a big man quickly. Because I'm sorry, but Illinois' starting centers and power forward cannot combine for 7 rebounds. Well, yeah, 7 rebounds. LaRon Black had 4 rebounds. Michael Finke had 3.
We've been saying this all season, but if you put like a legitimate, rim protector next to LaRon Black, I think that'd be a huge difference maker with a team like this one.
Ebo should have played more. I don't know why he didn't play as much. Underwood made some questionable lineup decisions in the sense of Trent Frazier was not playing as much as he really should
Ebo
have.
only had 2 fouls too, so that's kind of surprising.
Yeah, and I think in a moment where you're close against such a good Ohio State team that's playing really well, even if LaRon Black has 4 fouls, you need to have your second best scorer on the floor to give yourselves a chance to win. Like in the case of Indiana, when LaRon Black wasn't playing at the end, Indiana's not as good of a team. They're not going to have a player that can really change the game. Ohio State has the best player in the conference in KBD. So, Tommy, I mean, should LaRon have played later on in the game? Should Trent Frazier have gotten some more minutes in the first half despite foul trouble?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. You can always look back and say, oh, he should have played more at this point, played less at this point if he ends up falling out. I mean, it's tough to say because, I mean, either way, this could have backfired for Underwood. Unfortunately, it backfired this way. I mean, you'd like to see something like that play out where Trent comes in, hits a few shots at the end of the game. But, I mean, the offense just seemed like it couldn't get going without Trent yesterday. And I don't know. I mean, like you said, without a big man that can really protect the rim and go at it down low outside of LaRon, I mean, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
I have some thoughts about Trent and the offense. It seems like I love the confidence from Trent. I love that he goes at it. He just has extreme confidence in himself, but he's just chucking shots sometimes, especially from 3.
He was 5 of 15 for the game, 2 of 9 from 3.
He pulled up from a little bit inside half court
Yeah.
for no reason. It was very early in the shot clock. I love the confidence, and if he hits that shot, awesome, but there was no reason to take that shot.
Well, that's
because
not-
they were only down by 2.
Sometimes you got to have that heat check.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I mean, sure, Trent Frazier chucks a lot of those shots, but Tommy
He also
Will
hits
and
a lot of them.
Tommy Will and myself, when we go to the press conferences, we heard Underwood say, I believe, after the win over Rutgers, he was saying how he's a heat check guy. If a guy's hitting 3 threes in a row, he's going to just keep running the same play over and over again.
But
And Frazier's one of the only guys on this team who can actually get a shot for himself,
And
even
get
if they're
hot.
not.
But the thing
even if
is,
they're kind of empty
at
attempts every
that
once in
point
a
in
while.
the game, he wasn't shooting well. It's sometimes I feel like he tries to forcibly shoot himself out of if he feels like he's not shooting well, I feel like he just tries too hard.
Yeah.
Like
Shoot.
there were a couple times he even drove and he kicked out. That if he had just attempted the layup or tried to finish, like
At the
it could
same
have been a
time,
foul or
though,
points
I mean,
too.
I can think of at least 5 different instances in just yesterday where he drove in, kind of got caught, realized he didn't have a shot, and would kick out, and he led to a lot of open threes.
Yeah, I mean, going back and forth, we can nitpick all we want.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just my thing. Like, because I mean, he was 2 for 9 from 3, so I mean, it just feels like he chucks sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of they were chucking a lot of threes. They were 9 of 28 from 3. They just fell in love with shooting threes right after they were hitting threes in the beginning because Finke was hitting his shots. Allstork hit a 3 in the beginning. You saw
Laurent hit one.
Laurent hit one. He's 50% from 3. He's 5 of 10, I believe, in conference play. So
Killing it.
guys were hitting threes, but this game you can nitpick all the little things, but you have to nitpick the biggest thing, and that's if Illinois doesn't have these kinds of stretches where they can't score a point for 10 minutes, they would be considered one of the best teams in the Big Ten. They're already considered one of the toughest teams to play because of how tough they are defensively and forcing turnovers. But this was a bad game for them in terms of turnovers. They only forced 15, which is considered low for them.
The crazy thing with the 10-minute stretch without a point, like they literally did that to Rutgers a couple days before. Like they watched themselves do that to Rutgers, and it's kind of crazy that then happened to them after they had just done that to someone else.
Yeah. I mean, this game was a big positive, followed by a ginormous negative, followed by little positives. And for me, the biggest positive is Mark Allstork. He's got his confidence back. Led the team in points with 19. He had 3 rebounds, an assist, 3 steals, and was shot 6 of 11. So
His best game, I think, of the year.
probably, yeah, his highest scoring game, Big Ten-wise, highest scoring game of the season for all of Illinois, actually, because he had 17 against Southern in the first game of the season. But
I mean, if there's the positive takeaway from this game is that they fought, they continued to, stay in the game despite that 19-0 run. They didn't just roll over.
It was different from the Michigan State game, too, where they played well for the first half, and then Michigan State kind of ran away. Like, Illinois played well throughout the whole game.
except that second
little
quarter
stretch, yeah.
stretch where they couldn't score and Ohio State was just bossing them. I mean, once you can't hit a 3 against Illinois, you're like, okay, if we have a guy over 6'11", just throw it to him and let him dunk. Bates Diop did that. Everyone else is doing that.
He also hit threes. He's something.
He
2
kinda-
of 7, yeah.
I mean, he can hit from really almost anywhere. Like, he's good from mid-range, too.
Yeah, and he's, 35, 13. He did have 6 turnovers, but again, he had the ball for a bunch of times. And even without Williams, one of their best veteran guards out, he got suspended indefinitely by Holtman. This is a very good Ohio State team that's just been shocking everybody, is playing really, really confident, really well.
I mean, they played into the fouls, though, too.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, they took 33 shots from the free throw line.
Yeah, and only 16
Almost double
threes.
Illinois.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, when you double free throws, but also the rebound battle was ridiculous. 45 to Ohio State, 22 for Illinois. I mean, Bates, Diop, and Wesson combined for 23 rebounds, which is one more than all of Illinois had. So they gave up a lot of offensive rebounds. Ohio State had 14 offensive. Illinois had only 5. So the rebound battle was, to me, the biggest thing, which obviously the biggest thing coming from this game is that Illinois needs to recruit a big man. They need to get a guy who can dominate the post, scoring-wise and defensively. And also, Illinois needs to defend the best player on their opponents much better, because a lot of Big Ten games this season that Illinois has had, they cannot stop their opponent's best player. Bates Diop went off. Bridges and Jaren Jackson went off.
I mean, I think the common theme with all of them, though, is that they're bigger than us and
Right,
they're faster than us. It's just a matter of athleticism, I think. with
Well,
this team.
but now you come to an opportunity with these 2 home games against Wisconsin again and now Penn State, where the best player on the team is a guard.
Right.
Ethan Happ for Wisconsin, who's a guard but is pretty big, but then Tony Carr for Penn State. So do you maybe make the move and trying to get DeMonte Williams defending them a little bit more? Maybe he gets more minutes, because
I could
DeMonte's
see
had a
that.
tough time recently. He's only
Him
played-
or Allstork will probably be on most of them for both the games, I would assume.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of Smith every now and then, a little bit of Trent. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a good rotation in the guards, because most of our guards are pretty big, I'd say.
They're definitely on the bigger, especially Allstork and Smith. They're definitely,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
play,
even
they play
Jordan's
bigger.
has some nice little size to him. I mean, aside from Trent, I think they all have some pretty good size.
Yeah.
I think that those should be good matchups. I mean, I was looking at ESPN earlier. I think that like something around 70% are picking us to win Wisconsin. I don't know about Penn State, but
I don't trust those.
no, I mean,
power
yeah,
indexes
I don't either.
anymore.
I'm just saying
It helps, though.
It's
I mean,
not a
it gives
bad
you
It
an idea.
helps, I know, but after I decided after the Super Bowl last night, I was going to see, what were people saying about the Eagles before the season started? They had the Eagles as a 2% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
That's wild.
Exactly.
2 years ago, Doug Peterson was ranked by ESPN as the worst head coaching hire.
Yeah, no,
and Hugh Jackson was ranked number 1.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Hugh Jackson just went 0-16, and Doug Peterson just won the Super Bowl, top to bottom, literally. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Those power indexes, especially ESPN's, I don't trust very much. But
it happens.
Another big thing that happened in the Ohio State game, I mean, you can't have Kipper and LaRon foul out.
No,
you can't,
especially with over 5 minutes
Kipper,
to go.
especially, who's been hot lately. I mean, he just got a lot of fouls. He had 9 points and 2 rebounds, which is low for him. 2 assists, but he's been playing really well. I mean, he's going to start the rest of the season for the most part. But now we're getting into it's really the final stretch of the regular season because we're starting the Big Ten tournament this year in frickin' February, unlike the past couple of years when it's been in March. So that's it. There's only 7 more games left.
Yeah,
I mean
it's kind of crazy. I was actually writing all the games in my planner earlier today, and I realized we're almost done.
Big Ten tournament's in 3 weeks. 3 weeks from Wednesday.
Yeah,
in New York,
yep.
At MSG. Mm-hmm. Right. But what's it going to take for Illinois? Let's count out NCAA tournament. That seems like a far cry by now, unless they win the Big Ten tournament. But how many wins does Illinois need to get to be considered for the NIT? Because a lot of people are saying Illinois can make a run at the NIT this year.
I'm not worried about them making the NIT.
Yeah.
You think they will?
Because, I mean, everyone said all year, I mean, almost every panel, almost every show says Illinois is better than their record shows. So,
yes.
I mean, I feel like that comes into account. I mean, I feel like even if they're at 500, I feel like they get...
I think if they win 3 more games, they're good.
They'll go for the NIT, even if they lost in the first round.
I guess 4 more. Yeah.
4?
Let's see, because, I mean, there's Wisconsin...
Penn State, we win at least
games
one
left.
of those, yeah. 7 games.
I think they have to win 4. If they're above 500, I think they're in.
Yeah, they got to be above 500.
I'll go with that.
I also think they need to win at least a game or 2 in the Big Ten tournament to get themselves a decent seed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. To get a decent seed, for sure.
So they can host a couple games late in March into April, and then maybe go back to New York and play in the NIT championship, which is not that far-fetched. Because Illinois against lower conference teams in the NIT and even some big teams that have had disappointing seasons, they could win some games in that tournament. Most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think that they've obviously been right there all year. It's just a matter of the right matchups.
Especially now, because they are playing well. It's just not translating into the win column. So if that just keeps up, they go into the NIT with that kind of mindset, how they're playing, then, yeah, they could easily make it.
Yeah, they just need to get more of those wins, be able to translate to more wins, honestly, because the performances are there, all of the culture and the way they play is there. It's just about getting W's now. But to be fair, the ranked teams they've played this year, they've performed pretty well. I mean, 13-point loss to Michigan State, 8-point loss to Ohio State, 2 games Illinois was in for parts, overtime loss to Northwestern before they were trash.
Beat Missouri, who's projected as an 8 seed.
Ranked.
They're also projected as an 8 seed right now in the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing close games. They're playing good basketball. But the one thing that's kind of declining also, bench play. Mm-hmm. Illinois was scoring buckets off the bench, but now the bench is kind of, sunk with Kipper and Trent now getting consistent starts because Mark Smith has just had a really rough time. He's not making any shots. Aaron Jordan has had a rough go in conference play. He got a confidence boost by hitting 2 threes yesterday. Lucas had a bad game, didn't have any points, only 2 assists. DeMonte Williams has not been the best right now, and Ebo had his nice little stretch of scoring 8-10 points in the Michigan-Minnesota games, but he's also been kind of quiet, not getting as much playing time. How does the bench, Tommy, kind of reinvigorate and get some points?
I think it's just a matter of getting the time and getting those shots up. I know we said a little bit about it earlier with Trent when we were talking about it, but I mean, sometimes you almost have to just shoot your way out of it. That's not. I would assume that they're doing fine in practice. I would assume that there's no fundamental or mechanical issues with those guys' shots and everything. And if there is, the coaches, I'm sure, would address it. But I think that it's almost a matter of just getting in that groove, getting in that rhythm, and getting that confidence up.
I think Mark Smith needs to drive to the basket more, don't you think?
I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, he looks good when he does. He is obviously good from the free throw line. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see him finish a lot, but I don't see why he couldn't do that. He kind of looks like he's had a little bit of ball handling issues, but I mean, that's just something that comes with more practice.
he's just consistently taking like 2-3 shots a game. Like he's just not even taking shots.
Yeah.
He's been very timid.
He was 0 of 2 yesterday. One of those shots was a 3, which he missed, and all 4 of his points did come at the free throw line.
I feel like the second unit just lacks like that guy, because at the beginning of the season it was Trent, and then Trent went in the starting lineup, and then
Aaron Jordan was also partly the guy.
And
who was
then
hitting
Kipper
shots.
started becoming the guy in that second unit, and then now he's in the starting lineup, and now I feel like they just kind of lack an identity. Like I feel like that we're just kind of counting on these small performances from all of the guys on the bench.
Yeah. I mean, the bench points, though, were at 10. There were only 10 bench points, all from Jordan and all from Mark Smith, because Lucas and Williams and Ebo all didn't score. And Underwood is still running a 10-man rotation, though Williams and Ebo were playing single-digit minutes.
I was surprised by how little Ebo played.
Especially when they're getting bodied at the rim by KBD. Ebo should have played a little bit more. Give him some challenge.
He's a little slower. Like I think KBD could have probably burned him, but I mean, you just
can
get a little
burn
help. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you just get a little help defense in there. I think he would have been fine.
Yeah. Conclusion: Keita Bates-Diop is the MVP of the Big Ten. No question.
He's good.
But
very good.
I don't know. I don't think he makes the best pro, though. I think Miles Bridges or Jaren Jackson would make the best pro.
Oh yeah, they both are going to be insane.
Yeah, but KBD is an excellent player. He could take Ohio State far when we hit March and when we hit the Big Ten tournament in late February, as we're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we'll talk Super Bowl. The Eagles beat the Pats. Big upset, great game. We'll tell you our thoughts about it and maybe a little bit about next season. When we return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
And welcome back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. It's Ori Benatar with Will Gerard, Jay Kassan, and Tommy Polson. We're going to talk some Super Bowl. The game was last night. It was a great one of the best ever, as the Eagles upset the Patriots 41-33 in Minneapolis. Alex Aguilera, shout out to our Thursday producer, the only one who picked Nick Foles to be the MVP, but
Wild.
Alex, Will, and Eli only wants to pick the Eagles.
Yeah, in retrospect, probably would have made sense to go with Foles, but I mean that MVP pick with Alshon, that was just straight from the heart. And when he had that first touchdown stag, I mean, had he pulled down that other one-handed catch, maybe it's a different story.
If Jeffrey doesn't get shut down in the last 3 quarters, he might have won the MVP. Also, if Foles didn't catch a touchdown plus throw 3, I think Alshon would have had a chance for the MVP. I mean, man, what a game, huh?
I can't believe they trusted Nick Foles to throw that ball 43 times. Like, if you had told me before the game that Nick Foles was going to throw 43 times and have, 300-plus passing yards and catch a touchdown, I would have laughed in your face. I mean, because I thought they were just going to run.
And he looked so confident the entire game. But
yeah.
I mean, he had a good run game.
I cannot wait for the
Are you
Browns to give
excited?
up $1 billion.
Are you excited for Nick Foles and the Browns next year?
I cannot wait for the Browns to give up all their first-round picks for Nick Foles.
No.
It's going to be so
gonna
funny.
happen.
We should not do that.
He
'cause
100% won a
Well, of
starting
course
job
they're not
somewhere
supposed to,
next
but
year.
they're
There's no way
gonna.
Foles doesn't have a
shouldn't
job.
do that.
It's gonna
After that Super
happen.
Bowl
Foles
performance.
will have a job, but
In Cleveland.
the thing that happened that got Foles so many yards and all that, come on, the Pats' defensive line got no pressure. Foles had all day to throw. He didn't
That
get sacked
plus-
once.
Plus the fact, I'm pretty rattled about this whole Malcolm Butler thing.
He should have played.
He should have played.
He should have played.
You're
I don't
insane if you told me
understand
that
what
was the best move for their defense.
Even-
After he played 98% of snaps over the whole
Even
season.
if it was something that he did in the week, or if he was having a rough practice, whatever, any of the stories, whatever you believe, once it starts going downhill and you see that your pass coverage is bad and not
Just
doing
give him-
well, you give him some snaps.
Yeah, give him at least a full possession if he messes up again and he's still falling back into
Yeah.
whatever his possible issue was. I saw a conspiracy theory. So follow me here. I don't know if this has any weight to it or anything, but I saw a conspiracy on the Twitter machine that apparently Kraft didn't want to sign Butler to a new contract. So what Belichick did was to sit him out to prove how important he was to the team to show that they have to re-sign him.
I'm calling.
That's crazy.
It's such a Belichick move.
I believe if you do it for a half or a quarter, not
Yeah.
for the full game, especially once the Pats fall behind, and especially even on that last Eagles drive.
So how much of a difference do you think he makes when Foles is threading passes into like triple coverage?
A lot.
I think it'd be huge.
I still think just his presence alone changes the
It
game.
just seems
it
like
totally does.
if Belichick thought that there would be a difference, like there would have been a difference in the game, he would have had him out there on the field. Like I feel like we were missing something there.
Even just like think about how it sounds. Malcolm Butler is your number one corner.
He
Stephon
played
Gilmore is your number
98% of the snaps in the season.
that is an unreal.
And
move.
he's their best man coverage guy,
Yes.
and the Eagles have great receivers.
And you know how well he plays in big moments. From the last Super Bowl
it's only a
moment
matter
that
of
he
time
had.
till
which
someone
was
drops
a
doesn't
better
make sense.
interception than it was a bad throw.
Right.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy thing.
It's also crazy how Tom Brady threw for 505 yards, a postseason record.
I'm
and they lost.
so mad at anybody who's trying to blame this game on Tom Brady and be like, "Oh, Tom Brady's not the greatest
I
of all
did see
time
someone
anymore."
say, "Hey, New England, your God just fumbled on the New England."
That wasn't his fault.
That was not his fault.
No.
That was the
that's just a
line's fault.
crazy amount of pressure.
I mean, it's
from
unbelievable
us.
they had a
Not in
chance to
Philly.
tie the game
Yeah.
at the end when they were at
Like,
their 10-yard line.
At
was-
the end, I thought New England was winning.
I thought
that
so
game on
too.
the last drive.
When you give Brady 2 minutes and like, what was
Yep.
it, like 20 seconds? If he didn't fumble that ball, I thought New England was going to go all the way.
Oh, 100%.
Even when he had 70 seconds, I
Yeah.
thought.
I still
New
thought he was
England
tying it
winning
up.
that game.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was the biggest and most important sack in Eagles history.
Those 3 passes to Gronk that each went for like 15 yards, I thought that was it. I thought it was over.
Yep. I was texting a couple friends like right after, and they're like, "Oh, you're like his." I'm very open about how much I'm a Brady fan. They're like, "Oh, your boy Tom, like he just choked this game away," and I was like, can you look at the numbers real quick for me, buddy? Because he was unbelievable last night.
That was just a great.
Sorry
play
that your
call by
defense gave
Philadelphia.
41 points.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
You can really only knock him for dropping that one pass, and he's a quarterback.
He's a
not
quarterback.
receiver.
And that was a
And-
word, and
and
that
he's
was more of an
unathletic.
overthrown ball than him.
he should have
missing.
caught it. I think he should have
so?
caught
I
it.
think he
Yeah,
should've
I think
caught
he
it.
should have caught
He
it.
didn't make the
You
best
see his
play on
form.
the ball. Like,
His form
hands
was
his
bad,
arms weren't,
yeah.
like, fully
But like
extended.
he's not a
Foles had
receiver.
good form
He's
when
not
he
a
caught his
receiver.
touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why do you call that play in the first place anyway? Because then let's say
Yeah.
he catches it, he gets caught, he gets lit up
no, he
at
would,
some
he
point.
would
down the
run
field.
out of bounds.
He would have ran out of bounds or slid. There's no way he would.
I think the reason why he dropped is because he was a little scared. He didn't realize how much space he had in the open field. You
but
know?
Yeah.
Brady's not that athletic. In
Oh
general.
no, you want to keep him in the pocket as much as possible.
exactly.
Yeah, I can't believe they called that. And then for Philly to shove it in their face to call it in the end zone then.
Oh, that was the
and have
ultimate
it-
flex on him.
great,
there,
Right,
running that
it was
move,
a
running that play.
complete flex by Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I mean Nick Foles played tight end in high school, so and he's a pretty athletic guy. Can't play him the game on Brady because
Not at all.
New England was scoring and getting in the red zone almost every drive.
Didn't they have one punt?
There's one punt the whole game. One punt the whole
wild.
game.
That's
One sack the whole game. Each team had a turnover, and the Patriots missed scoring opportunities. Gostkowski missed a field goal. Mm-hmm. If Gostkowski
That was kinda crazy.
If Gostkowski makes his missed field goal, which was a bad snap,
was a bad snap.
and makes his missed extra point, it's a 41-40 game at that point. But Jake Elliott missed an extra point, so this game should have been 42.
Wait.
not 42. My bad, not 40. 42 to
I was gonna
37.
say, that doesn't add up.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good at math. It's okay. But
We've never claimed to be a math show.
this game also
I'm
set
a
the
math
postseason record for most total yards, despite the Eagles having one of the best defenses. But New England's defense is bad. They need a lot of improvement. Their defense is just
It'd be crazy if they just
Oh.
found this corner that happened to be on their roster named like I don't know, maybe Malcolm Butler or something. Former Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be insane.
No, just like Jim Smith or something. Like they just pull him from the practice squad like that week or
Oh,
something.
no, I'm referencing Malcolm Butler, who should have played.
I know, but
Jacob.
I'm saying like that would have been such a Patriots move that they just bring in some random guy.
That's not
too.
what I meant, though. But okay, sure. Why not? That too.
Is this the best Super Bowl you guys have ever seen?
No.
I agree. It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best.
It's one
but
of the best.
I can't
one
think
of.
of what was better offhand, but I don't think
definitely-
I just like my immediate feeling after.
It's the best in recent, like the past 3-4 years.
I think the best one I can think of offhand was the Saints with the onside kick.
No.
No, I
Best
thought that was
Super Bowl I've
insane.
ever seen, Super Bowl 43, Steelers Cardinals. This was the
Yeah.
second best. This was
I
the
don't
second
remember
best
that
Super
one.
Bowl. Super Bowl 51, I don't say is the greatest because the first 2.5 quarters of that game were just terrible.
right,
'cause it
end
was
to
a
end.
blowout.
You're
But
talking about start to finish.
start to finish. The hour that the Patriots are coming back, that was probably the most exciting hour in Super Bowl history. But start to finish, this game was, for me, second best Super Bowl I've ever seen. Super Bowl 43 was an incredible game. 42 also was very good when the Giants upset the Pats. So we got good game. Commercials?
Loved them.
I thought they were pretty good.
Big
They were
fan.
really
Overall.
bad the last couple of years. Overall, pretty solid.
I
Halftime
thought they
show.
were really good.
Halftime show,
liked it.
fire.
Big fan.
I was not a fan.
Fire.
Will?
Just a hater.
It was okay. Like, it was a solid
Okay,
performance. I like the tribute to Prince. I thought it was like appropriate.
That was
cool. I did
I'm
like
glad
the
that there wasn't a
purple,
hologram or anything.
The whole thing with the rest of Minneapolis lighting up around the stadium to form his symbol was the coolest thing.
That
That was
graphic was
very
awesome.
cool. That was really
Was
really
it a
cool.
graphic or did they
I don't
actually
know
do
what
it?
it-
I think
I
they
don't-
actually did it.
Did they really?
I
think
if
they
they
did it.
actually did it, that's
If they actually
even
did it, that'd
better.
be
I'm pretty sure
But yeah,
they
it was
actually did
super tasteful. I'm
Yeah.
glad they did it that way.
Yeah,
They didn't overdo it.
I liked it.
I thought they were gonna overdo it, and then they just did like a quick thing. Here you go, boom, done. That was
Yeah.
The giant sheet was pretty wild.
Giant Sheet was a weird move, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Well, like, it wasn't supposed to kind of be like reminiscent of his halftime performance he had, where
Oh,
he,
that
like,
makes-
you know, with the
that
giant
makes-
sheet.
that
the
makes
sheet-
more
Yes,
sense.
that's what they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I didn't
Attaboy,
know
Will.
that.
Now we all begin
Big music
to,
guy over here.
Putting the pieces together, I like it.
Now we all
Congrats.
begin to get hyped up for Super Bowl 53, which will be at the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
It's baseball season, baby.
And it's going to be baseball
Yes.
season soon and the Olympics soon. But when we come back after this quick break, we're bringing in Illini hockey announcer Cristiano Simonetta to talk a little Illinois hockey, NHL hockey, and some Olympics. And also, as a Patriots fan, what he thought of the game. So we'll return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
And we're back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Ori Benatar with Will Gerard, Jake Hassan, and Tommy Polson. A quick little score update for you guys. Obviously, no more football, but the Patriots did lose to the Eagles 41-33 in Super Bowl 52. First ever Super Bowl title for the Philadelphia Eagles. Waiting for my scores to load up. There we go. One good ranked college basketball game tonight. Sooners, West Virginia. Little Big 12 action.
That was a good game.
NBA, the Bulls are in action against the Kings. What a game there. Combined 34 wins between the two teams. That should be a fun one in Sacramento. And in the NHL, Nashville's playing the Islanders right now. It is 2-2. And tomorrow we will see Vegas in action. The Hawks will be in action 7:30 at the United Center against the Calgary Flames. Also, the Blues will be playing the Minnesota Wild. And speaking of the Blues, we've got a Blues fan / Patriots fan in the house / the Illinois hockey play-by-play announcer / the hockey expert. Cristiano, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Ori? I'm glad to be known as the hockey expert. Wow, I got to put that on my resume one of these days.
I mean, that should be your title. Cristiano, hockey expert, Simonetta. That's what you got, man.
I think you have Mike Doc Emmerich and then Cristiano, hockey expert. So
There.
rolls right off the tongue.
There you go. Before we talk a little hockey, obviously being a Pats fan, what were your impressions of the game?
I mean, I love the game. There's nothing really that you can say about it. I mean, Brady throws for 505 yards. You got 3 TDs. You have one last drive. If you would have told me he's got a chance to give his team the lead with 2:21 left and 1 timeout, I say they got it in the bag, but then a great play by Graham to push away that football, and then they recover, and congrats to the Eagles. They deserve it. The Blues now need a title because you see all these droughts being snapped. I know they won 3 NFL championships, the Eagles did, but to get that Super Bowl in that era, now the Blues still haven't even been to a cup since 1970. I think they're the next franchise to kind of break through that mold.
Well, it's nice that you have teams that do so well. You know, some of us here aren't so lucky. But let's talk a little Illinois hockey because they're doing pretty well right now.
You like the Browns?
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Yeah, Illinois
The
hockey's
Browns have already been eliminated from playoff contention already.
No, they have not. We'll go all the way next year.
No, you guys will be sweet with Nick Foles.
Because we'll have
next
Nick
year.
Foles.
That's all
yeah.
they need.
That's all we need is Nick Foles. But let's talk Illinois hockey. They've got 4 straight wins now. How about that? 2 against Iowa State, then 2 against Illinois State. They're ranked what now? 8th?
Number 8, it should be rising, I think, to maybe 7-6. There's only like about a 100-point discrepancy between the number 5 team and the number 8 team, us. So it's going to be fun to see how these rankings shift out. They come out Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday the rankings are coming out, but they've got 4 more regular season games before the tournament in Athens. Do they have a chance to win the CHL tournament?
Of course. There's only 5 teams, so you like to think that you've got a good chance, but every single team in that division, the CSCHL, is ranked top 10. So you've got it's basically the ACHA's group of death. You have Ohio leading the charge there, Robert Morris, Iowa State, Illinois, and of course Lindenwood ranked at number 3. So it's going to be a bloodbath between all those teams, and especially in Athens that has a much smaller ice surface than the Big Pond. It's actually smaller than a regulation-sized rink in terms of its width, and the Illini will be heading there this weekend to take on the Bobcats.
Yeah, 2 games against the Ohio Bobcats in Athens on Friday and Saturday. You can hear the game right here, correct?
Oh, well, yeah. Not on WPGU, though.
But on
because
YouTube.
Through WPGU. We've got that little sponsorship going.
There we go, okay.
YouTube presented by WPGU's audio kind of thing, but home games, that's where you'll be able to listen right here, and that'll be in 2 weeks. Senior weekend, my last games at the Big Pond, last games on WPGU officially against Robert Morris. Those are going to be a lot of fun to
broadcast. And you've been working with the hockey team now for 3 or 4 years?
4 years. Ever since I came in as a bright-eyed freshman, I knew what I wanted to do, got into the group over there at Illini Hockey, spearheaded by Dylan Gusmano and Drew Curtis, and then when I was a junior, I was the one running the show.
It's pretty awesome, and you've done a phenomenal job running the show with the team, but let's talk a little bit about the team. Who for you has been the best player this year?
You know, it has to be Bobby Ernsting for me. To be a sophomore and to lead this team with 28, 29 unofficial points through only 26 games. He missed a couple of games, but then when you see him in the lineup, he's a game changer. He's a game breaker. He reminds me a lot of James McGing, who's a senior right now and is mostly covered by the top defensive groups of the opposition. But then you got Bobby, who's basically James Jr., who does all the things that he does, but maybe is a little more under the radar. So when you see number 24 skating over the blue line, over the red line, you don't really know who this guy is. But then as soon as he takes that extra stride on you, you know that he's going to have a great chance at the net. So definitely him. Joe Nolan on the back end has really surprised me as a freshman, also in the top 5 in scoring on the team, as well as in CSCHL scoring among defensemen. The Illini picked him up just out of nowhere, it seemed, in the summer, and he's gone into a top 4 role on the back end, and Illinois is a offensive juggernaut right now, scoring the most goals in their division with 4.4.
Yeah, Illinois scoring 9 goals in this weekend's matches against Illinois State. Combined score of 9-1 for the 2 games. They put up 4 and 3 against Iowa State over there as visitors. Is this the best season for Illinois hockey that you've seen?
I think so. I think freshman year we had a great chance to contend and then fell short in the second round of the postseason. Last year we lost against UCO, Central Oklahoma, who ended up winning the national tournament. But definitely with the amount of forwards this team has, with the defense this team has, the coaching and head coach Nick Fabrini, who won 2 national championships, he'll be the first one to tell you about it. He went 38-0 in 2008. We all hear it. But that's how skilled he is and that's how knowledgeable he is about the team. And when you have that type of leader and he's a player's coach, all the players seem to get along, and the moving parts seem to gel together, that's when you usually have a championship team, and I think Illinois may have that this season.
If Illinois hockey winning a championship, how much closer do you think Illinois hockey being an NCAA sport comes?
I think the steps are already in motion, of course. I have a little inside info from last year's press conference at the NHL draft with Josh Whitman there, Rocky Wirtz there, Gary Bettman, John McDonough. So there's definitely something in the works that in the next couple of years, next 5 years, we're going to see steps being taken for them to go D1, but the biggest issue everybody always wants to talk about is funding, because hockey's the most expensive sport to play as a kid and the most expensive sport to set up at the college level, especially in the United States. It's going to be tough to do, but with the crowds that we see at the University of Illinois Ice Arena, dubbed the Big Pond, 2,000 fans with the marching Illini there last weekend against the Illinois State Redbirds, it's an intimidating place to play, and on campus I think it could turn into a niche sport and maybe become more than that, possibly to the level of basketball and football if they find success.
Yeah, I mean, with all the revenue sports kind of struggling over the past few years, a lot of people kind of look to Illinois hockey to be that sort of replacement as the successful team in a big-time sport in the United States. The Big Pond, I didn't know that was the nickname.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess it's because of the wide ice surface. It's 30 feet wider than an NHL rink, and that's why you see Illinois is the best conditioned team. And then when they play teams like Iowa State and Ohio on smaller rinks, they just blow right by them, because when you're at home on that rink, you can take one step off the sideboards and you're still, it seems like, 100 feet away from the net. But then in other rinks, you take a step away and you look like you have a breakaway.
Oh, it's an incredible home ice advantage, really. It's a major
yeah.
adjustment in terms of how the game is played.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Did you notice that extra ice space when you're Zamboning it?
Well, not really, because I've never actually zammed any other sheet of ice. But, the
Never
area,
zammed. Never zammed. Oh, man.
I remember
I like
as a child, I played youth hockey, and I grew up
Nice.
always going to the ice rink here, and then the first time we went to Bloomington for a game, I was like, whoa, this is kind of small. What the heck? This is not the same setup at all.
How's the Zam work over there in Bloomington?
I couldn't tell you. I've heard a few things.
Do they have a good lodging technique, right?
Oh, what?
I don't know. I just made that up on the spot.
Just making up
Alright.
terms.
That's when
Ori,
you go.
Ori,
that's
come
when-
on, keep
That's
it
when
real.
you go from. That's when you go from the red line to the goal line in one swift motion. while
That's kinda
pressing
what
the
you do with every
brakes.
pass, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't press on the gas. You
You're a
have
real
the
innovator.
brake on.
You just okay.
Which means
Just slide
No,
around.
10 guys are pushing it in the
Oh,
back. So
alright.
lodging for you,
Gotcha.
ladies and gentlemen.
So last 10 minutes here. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about NHL and the Olympics. So I wanted to ask you about the Golden Knights. Why are they so good?
I think it's that underdog factor. I mean, look what the Eagles played off of in the Super Bowl. Of course, we know that it wasn't that one-sided in terms of talent, but Vegas, they somehow have assembled a great team due to the fact they're led by Marc-Andre Fleury. And then when he went down, you had Malcolm Subban. And when Malcolm Subban went down, you had a third-string goaltender pull out some wins. It just defies all logic, but I think it goes back to what Will said about the Illini, a home ice advantage. I joked a couple of years ago when we heard of the announcement that Vegas would have the best home record in hockey simply because there's a lot of distractions out there, and John Tortorella is going to be the only coach to say, yes, I like my guys going out, and then when Columbus goes to Vegas and they get shelled, he may want to rethink that type of logic. But Vegas has been outstanding. I think Jonathan Marchessault, who scored 30 goals last season with the Florida Panthers, he's a great asset. James Neal, what can you say about the real deal James Neal? He's been producing at an octane rate. Nate Schmidt, who the Capitals wanted to keep in the expansion draft to keep him away from Vegas, he's been a star. Jason Garrison, the guy who we thought would lead on the back end, he is end up getting waived by the Golden Knights, and you think who is going to be on defense for this team, and they've somehow just pulled out all the strings and all the skips, and they've been able to lead the Western Conference for a majority part of the season, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon.
I know. I mean, it's incredible. If Columbus can't get past, Washington or whoever in the first round in the East, I'm on Team Vegas, man. I mean, it's an incredible story. I'll bandwagon. I'll fair weather Vegas. I mean,
They also have a great Twitter.
yes.
They you know what? They sometimes try and bend that Los Angeles Kings Twitter vibe, and I like the way professional teams are going, but yeah. So for the majority, I would say I like their Twitter. They've gotten some hot water a couple of times just because they're trying to be too funny, like the Champagne Room. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Shout out Stephen Cohen.
Shout out, Steven.
But yeah, no, Vegas, it's a fun atmosphere, and if they make the playoffs, it's all about goaltending, and Marc-Andre Fleury has proved time and time again that he can lead a roster to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, Marc-Andre Fleury returning to his former home ice in Pittsburgh on tomorrow when the Golden Knights take on the Penguins. And there's still going to be hockey going on when the Olympics start. They start on Thursday, opening ceremonies on Friday in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Get on the curling hype train. For you, the men's tournament, is your interest kind of dead, or are you still going to find some good hockey?
I don't know about good hockey, to be honest with you. Maybe from the athletes from Russia. Of course, they're not the Russian national
The
team.
independent
The
Olympic
independent.
athletes of Russia.
Yeah, so they'll be fun to watch. Ilya Kovalchuk will be cool to see. Yarmir Yair, if he decides to play for Czech. Peter Nedved and him just had a great battle over for HC Kladno. Of course, that's a reference that not a lot of people are going to get. But Yager,
Gotcha.
if we see him in the Czech Republic, that'd be amazing. Russia, they're going to play out of their minds because they obviously have the best assortment of talent available aside from the guys in the NHL. So Brian Giunta barely forgot that he was alive, to be honest with you, and he's captaining the United States team. So
It's not going to be pretty.
it won't be, but, I mean, what can you do? It reminds me a lot of before our time and when there would be college athletes, but I don't know. This year with Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel and the amount of talent that USA would have had to compete against Connor McDavid, it still may have been an uphill battle against teams like Canada and Sweden, but it would have been fun to explore the hypothetical, and I'm upset we can't really do that.
Do you think, would you recommend the women's tournament to a lot of people? Because the women's tournament's going to be awesome.
You got a couple of Illinoisans in the Team USA team, and Hillary Knight and Megan Bozak.
Hillary Knight's baller.
She's unreal. I love watching her play. She scored the game-winning goal in the IIHF tournament against Canada, and she's a stud, as is Bozak, as is a lot of those women. And if you think, oh, women's hockey isn't that exciting, well, you're just being ignorant at that point, because the amount of talent that goes into these athletes playing and competing over an entire year, a calendar year, especially with the NWHL breaking out, I think it's going to be the best hockey at the Olympics. It's going to blow the men out of the water.
I agree. I'm going to spend a lot more time watching the women's tournament. What about other sports you guys are excited about? How about you, Cristiano? What are you
Curling,
excited about?
come on.
Let's
Curling.
go, baby.
Come on. I mean,
That's what I wanted to hear.
See Will Zam the curling.
Sam some houses and some stones.
I don't even know if they have Zambonis out there, to be honest. What if you had two Zambonis pushing whatever it's
Like a
called?
person.
Oh,
I'm all in on that.
pushing the stone.
I think
The
they did that in Philly last
Yeah, there we go. I'm all about
Stone.
that.
And the target's called the house. I played curling 3 times, so I know what I'm talking about. It's actually a lot of fun.
Big
but
curling guy.
Yeah.
Sweeping, man.
While
it's
we're talking
hard.
about the Zamboni, I gotta do big shout out to the guy Mark Bondi who taught me how to drive the Zamboni because I just got a text message from him. He's actually listening to the show right now, so big shout out to you.
Yeah, go Zambonis. Go ice and snow. I mean, the Winter Olympics is just a showcase of people skiing or skating on ice or snow.
Just sliding
It's just
around.
sliding around. Every sport involves sliding, if you think about it.
Hopefully, we won't see any sliding from Sean White.
Yeah, give me more Sean White. I saw a really cool Sean White commercial. I liked his commercial yesterday. I'd love to see him go out there and win some more.
Excited for some alpine skiing with Lindsey Vonn returning and Michaela Schifrin obviously being the skier she is. But I love the toboggan sports a lot. Those are the ones I get hyped watching. Because Skeleton Man,
I was just gonna say that actually.
freaky.
I
What's
honestly
that?
would die. Think about it.
It's luge,
Skeleton
but
Man?
your belly is on the actual sliding. You're going.
You're
Oh, that's awesome.
You're going head first.
So you're
I'm
going
all
so
about- I wanna do
fast.
that.
It's called skeleton because you're going so
Yeah,
fast
I like
the
that.
skin flies off your body. It's
I wanna do
freaking
that.
gruesome, but it's an exciting sport to watch.
all in.
Bobsled, cool too. We got an Illini alum and Asia Evans in there for the 2-woman bobsled. Ski jumping, always a cool one. That's also very terrifying. All the people who ski jump. What else we got? I mean, short track and regular speed skating are also fun. That glove the short track guys wear, that is tight. I don't know what you're
They
They wear a black glove, and their thumb,
Sorry.
their middle, and index finger have like gold on them, and it's like metal. So they
actual
can-
gold.
Not real, but it's like an actual like good material, and they like use their hand to glide on the ice. As
Let's
they're
do a weekly segment or explains a sport that nobody knows,
Ooh.
and we can just. I like it.
Well, people have heard it. People have know short track speed.
For Wednesday, let's get a new sport.
Oh God.
I'll get another one for you. I'll give you a Wikipedia, and you can research it during the break, and then I want you to explain it to us.
I used to have a book that had a bunch of explanations about
course
like,
you
all
did.
kinds of different sports. That book was terrible because they're like, oh, it's a sports book. What
I
are we
love
going to
it.
make the cover? It's going to be green confetti that looks like grass. It gave me a headache every time I sniffed it. It was
Hold on, where are we?
Can we explain this book
Sniffing
too?
book covers.
because you can smell the cover when you're reading it.
Oh,
I could never read the book because I just get a massive migraine from the stupid confetti. They must have
Interesting.
spray painted it or something.
Or he's addicted to confetti.
No,
all
I'm-
right? That's
no, I get-
problematic.
I get a migraine from spray
you
paint.
book
Doesn't
no, the Super
everyone?
Bowl wasn't confetti. That was shredded up CT
Oh, jeez.
cases.
yes, not actual CT,
Was it
only
Onion
the
that
cases.
tweeted that?
Yeah, that was a good tweet.
Always love the onion. Onion's fun, but
Onions are
Have you
good.
smelled an onion before?
I have.
Onions taste good.
I cut onions.
Or
every
he's just
week.
running around smelling stuff like in his apartment. Just-
Yeah.
Always big book sniffer.
I don't react well with onions. I cry a lot from them. It's not fun chopping those things. Cutting an onion properly is also pretty difficult.
Great segue.
I know. This is a phenomenal segue. We went from the Olympics to
Or he
onions.
teaches us how to cut stuff.
Yeah.
So this is an Olympics, and this is honestly kind of random to you two. So sorry to kind of go off the rails a little bit here.
All right, cool.
What do you think about that penalty that was called in the Liverpool game yesterday? I thought that was terrible.
Oh, terrible call.
Thank you.
And that
Thank
was-
you.
and that was
Okay, I
talking
needed
soccer.
that. I needed that.
Yeah,
I
there-
needed somebody to agree with me on that because I was very upset about that.
There was a dive there, but
Real big dive.
let's get a real Olympics prediction.
Nobody would do that in hockey.
Which country is going to win the most medals?
USA.
Is it going to be the USA, or is it
course.
going to be like Germany or the independent Olympic athletes of
It's
Russia?
still gonna be America.
Sure about that?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go USA.
The only thing I'll give Russia the gold medal in hockey, fine, but yeah, everything else I think is still
Doesn't
American.
Canada have a legitimate shot too?
Of course, they will always have a legitimate.
Yeah, I
shot.
mean their juniors kids will still be really good, but I don't know. I think it's
I just
the
want someone-
Russia.
I
They're
want someone
using
from North
KHL
Korea
players,
to
right?
win one thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I just want to see that ceremony.
What do they do?
You wouldn't see it. There's no internet there.
Hot cross buns on the recorder.
I'm not going there to watch.
But what I'm saying is you wouldn't see any celebration there. There's no internet.
No, I just want to see how
They
the,
wouldn't-
like the athlete.
Okay, well, that's
Well,
fair.
the ultimate moment would be if the unified Korean women's hockey team wins gold, but
That'd be
that's
wild.
probably not going to happen.
Live cam of some square in
one,
North Korea.
one of my favorite things to do, one of my favorite things to do in the NHL video games is playing is like England versus Korea, and you just score either a million goals or no goals. Like one time, my friend and I had a 38-round shootout because nobody could beat the goalies because nobody could stick handle.
Wait, why England
I
again?
love it.
Why don't
Because
play
England
Canada?
stinks.
Oh,
no,
two
no,
teams
we
that
wanted
stink,
two
okay.
we wanted two
Like
bad
Kazakhstan,
teams. Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like
That's-
you just play as trash teams and then go against each
Yeah.
other.
Speaking of England, I'm on a wild Peaky Blinders run right now.
What do you think?
It's phenomenal.
Are you just watching it for the first time?
I've heard
Yeah.
it's very good.
I'm
You
in- I'm
or
into
you would
season
like it a
3.
lot.
Yeah,
I
my
love-
girlfriend watches it. She said I'd love
It
it.
being 6 episodes a
Congrats
season
on
is
having a
so
girlfriend.
nice. Humble brag.
Sniffer, too.
Whoa.
Yeah. Monday, baby.
Each season being 6 episodes, that was fantastic.
Tom Hardy's a guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tom. No,
He's-
Killian
he's-
Murphy is the
He's
greatest actor in the
hilarious.
world.
Yeah.
Wow. Within 15
I'm naming my
minutes,
son Killian.
we've talked about like
All right.
7 different things. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Killian Poulsen.
Yeah. I was
There you
also
go.
going to say how,
I
you
actually
know,
don't hate that. That
It's gonna be
actually that rolls
sweet.
off.
England v. Korea in NHL, it's
CP.
like playing India and Bolivia in FIFA. Playing against India in FIFA is
I
like,
feel like it's worse. Like
No.
those aren't real people that play hockey. Like I think I can make that team.
And the names, you just don't think.
Yeah,
You just think they're generated.
I think I can
Yeah.
make the Korean hockey team.
that's true.
Sign me up.
Please do not
Let's do that for God's sake.
Do some
Fly
research.
me out to Korea. I'm in.
Tommy Poulsen, star of the Korean hockey team. Get his
That's a-
The
passport.
coach.
go.
Become the coach. Apply to be the
No.
hockey team
I'll,
coach.
I'll be a player coach. Little combo.
It's like Jackie Moon.
Yeah.
Emergency
Yes, I'll be the
mode.
Jackie Moon of
Emergency
Now we
Korea.
get into.
I'm the Jackie Moon of
semi-pro.
Korean hockey. I'm all in.
Wow. If you're
Did you say semi-pro? Semi-pro.
semi.
Pro.
If you're watching this at home, tell us if that's the
Semi-pro.
most topics you've heard within a short time span, because that was
I don't know.
fantastic.
I liked it.
I liked it, but I feel like we've done better.
We'll
That
have
was,
we'll have to watch the tape and count everything.
last Wednesday's show was pretty wild.
That was just
That
he was just loopy.
Yeah, it was
Loopy
really
AF,
sick.
man. That was ridiculous.
Whoa. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, take it easy.
Professional.
It's okay. I'm
Walk in here.
I said AF. We don't know what that could mean.
What's it mean?
As
thought so.
fun.
Hit your thesaurus.
As fun.
You're towing the line there real nicely there.
I'm telling.
Thanks for Cristiano for coming
tell
on
your
the show
girlfriend.
and talking about all this stuff. For Tommy, for Jake, for Will, I'm Ori Benatar. That was Illini Drive presented by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info on the Illini, go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-Illini-1. Once again, that's fightingillini.com or call 1-866-Illini-1. For more ticket information, be sure to tune in tomorrow for another edition of Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.